As an example of the interdisciplinary nature of the Koch Institute, I want to share a video clip from the MIT150 documentary that highlights the work of one of my colleagues, Paula Hammond. And in closing, I again want to thank every one of you for being so supportive of our work. Together, we really are conquering cancer. Thank you.
Cancer is a complex disease.
Tumor cells can be incredibly hard to kill.
Absolutely huge challenges.
Solving the most important problems.
Imagine taking quantum dots and attaching biological structures to them.
Smart bombs for cancer.
Devices that can be implanted in the body and can read out changes.
It's not going to be easy, and it's going to take determination.
The first of its kind in the country.
New science to be done, new technology to be developed, new policies.
Science, biology, chemistry, physics, and beyond.
Everything we do encourages people to think outside the box.
Cancer is a complex disease, and one of the important goals for our work is to try to understand that complexity and, in a sense, simplify the problem.
One of the unique things about tumor cells is that they can be incredibly hard to kill. What we're trying to do with nanomaterials is find a way to encapsulate cancer drugs, deliver them not to the healthy cells, but just to the tumor cells.
Material science now is incredibly powerful, and Paula Hammond is a perfect example of how bringing the right engineer together with the cancer researchers can really be a game changer.
These nanoparticles are very much like smart bombs for cancer because you actually design them layer by layer to first target the cancer and get that nanoparticle in there. Once that bomb gets inside the tumor, we begin to release the drugs which suppress the tumor's ability to fight and the drugs which kill the tumor. It requires this very huge and very broad set of disciplines to be able to do this.
MIT's talent base is unmatched, I would say, across a range of disciplines in science, biology, chemistry, physics, and beyond, and in engineering. Most of our departments are ranked first or near the top across the country and indeed throughout the world.
So I think MIT is positioned almost uniquely to provide an intersection among people at the top of their fields. I don't think MIT is unique in trying to foster that magic mix, but I think MIT can do it uniquely and uniquely powerfully.
The origins of what we call interdisciplinary work today at MIT are rooted in the RAD laboratory, or radiation laboratory. It was a facility that was plopped on the Institute even before World War II started to conduct top secret research on radar.
So the initial idea was to get a bunch of physicists, and by a bunch they meant about a dozen or two, right? To get a couple smart people who knew about radio waves, put them in one place, and make sure they had the equipment they needed.
We brought together British, American researchers. We brought together scientists and engineers. People didn't worry about the labels. They just worked together to solve the problems. And it was phenomenally productive.
So it was really a cross-disciplinary mix of truly extraordinary proportion. Following the war, there was interest at MIT in maintaining that magic mix. And the Research Lab for Electronics was established as the follow-on to the RAD Lab.
We are very famous for interdisciplinary laboratories. Think of the Media Laboratory. Think of CSAIL, the Pekar Institute, the McGovern Institute, the Whitehead, the Koch Institute.
When you begin with a problem, it leads you to elements of the solution that don't necessarily come out of a single discipline. And our mission is to serve the nation and the world through solving some of the really great problems that challenge humankind.
Won't you be seated, please? Members of the Senate, members of the House, ladies and gentlemen, we are here today for the purpose of signing the Cancer Act of 1971.
MIT started a Center for Cancer Research in the 1970s when President Nixon declared a war on cancer, I think he imagined the war was going to take 8 years and cost maybe $100 million, maybe a little more than that. Here it is many years later. And while we've made some progress against cancer, there is much, much progress yet to be made. Salvador Luria was the leader of that new Center for Cancer Research. And that work on cancer revealed to us the basic building blocks of biology and positioned us to offer those building blocks to engineers.
On the biology side, we've just learned a lot more to help the engineers think about how to design new solutions to the problems of cancer. Without that basic information, there's nothing to engineer.
So in our new Koch Institute for Integrative Cancer Research, we're putting together about a dozen biologists and about a dozen engineers.
The Koch Institute is, in fact, the first of its kind in the country. It's the first dedicated cancer research facility that has scientists and engineers together, and we have built lots of spaces within the building to encourage their interaction. You've basically got to get people out of their labs. If left to their own devices, a researcher at the bench will just spend all their time at their bench. You have to incentivize them and literally push them out of their labs, and that then, produces the sparks of the new idea.
One of the things I've always loved about MIT is it's always okay here to be completely and totally absorbed by your science. People love what they do so much, and they get so excited about it that they want to share it with everyone.
The great thrill of being here is having a conversation where someone gets excited about your idea and then adds to that idea their idea, and there's just an acceleration of understanding.
We have been studying cancer for a long time. Our goal now is to bring people together to treat cancer more effectively, to diagnose it at an earlier and earlier stage, to address real-world problems here related to cancer.
Much as the convergence of the physical sciences with engineering was the story of the 20th century, the convergence of the physical and engineering sciences with the life sciences is likely to be the story of the 21st century.
I think that probably gives us all a good sense of why we can simultaneously celebrate our past and yet be engaged in the future. And that is what we're doing. There's a past here at MIT that is the foundation for the future that is here in the Koch Center.